Imagine, if you will, a version of the Supreme Court that didn't suck. You know, like imagine a version of the Supreme Court that didn't just have, you know, Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito doing all the heavy lifting while everybody else just kind of votes like idiots. I mean, to be fair, Kavanaugh and Gorsuch vote the way we want them to more often than not, but all three of Trump's picks fucked this up. So, as you can see, the Supreme Court blocks new deportations of Venezuelans in Texas under 18th century wartime law. Yeah, SCOTUS did a bad thing. They did a bad. I'm not happy with SCOTUS right now, except for Thomas and Alito. Once again, they come in clutch. They're fucking the only justices that we can reliably rely on. We can get to vote the way we want them to. The Supreme Court on Saturday hit pause on the Trump administration's use of an 18th century wartime law to deport Venezuelan migrants to a prison in El Salvador. In a 7-2 emergency order just after midnight, the justices temporarily blocked deportations under the Alien Enemies Act, which Trump invoked last month, citing the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua as evidence of an invasion. Keep in mind, we are being invaded. Well, the new border crossings are down; they're way down, which is good. But we still have millions of illegals here in the country that need to get gone, and Trump is trying to use everything at his disposal to get rid of them. But activist judges on every court in the land, including the highest court in the land, seems determined to stop him. Now, it's interesting for me to call ACB and Kavanaugh and Gorsuch activists because they don't seem to be activist judges, but they didn't vote how we would have liked them to vote on this. All three of Trump's appointees from his first term, all three of them, not a single one voted to uphold his plan. It's you know Clarence Thomas and Sam Alito, just you know. The ACLU filed an urgent appeal Friday, warning that another wave of deportation flights was imminent. Fucking ACLU. I used to like them. The American Civil Liberties Union should only apply to Americans, not illegals. I don't give a shit about their civil liberties. As far as I'm concerned, they don't have any. The government is directed to, or the quote, the government is directed not to remove any member of the putative class of detainees from the United States until further order of this court, the order said. The hold only applies to migrants detained in northern Texas, though other judges have separately paused deportations in New York, Colorado, and South Texas. At least two Republican appointed justices, Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito, dissented from the rest. Alito said he planned to release an additional statement later on. As far as I know, that statement hasn't come out yet. But I look forward to hearing what he has to say, uh, you know, as to why. And I wonder if, Thomas will release his own opinion or if he'll sign on to Alito's, because Alito essentially, like, well, yeah, I agree with everything Sam said here, so, whatever. The legal fight builds on a narrower April 7th ruling where the justices voted 5-4 to let deportations continue, but only if migrants are given notice, a chance to challenge removal in court, and if their cases are filed in the jurisdiction where they're held, not Washington, D.C. Who cares? They're not citizens. Most of them. All of them. That's kind of the point here. Over 100 migrants have already been deported. The ACLU said more were being moved to airports Friday. A DOJ lawyer insisted no flights were scheduled that day, but added they reserve the right to remove people tomorrow. The ACLU rushed to stop the flights, giving Texas just 42 minutes to respond before escalating to a higher court. A Fifth Circuit panel, two Trump appointees and one Biden appointee, rejected the appeal, saying the group had acted too quickly. Petitioners gave the court only 42 minutes to act, the panel wrote. The Supreme Court stepped in shortly thereafter, telling the administration it could file a formal response depending on what happens next at the appeals court. Alito's forthcoming statement could lay out the conservative case for allowing the deportations to resume, or another argument for why the justices should not have intervened again in this ongoing immigration dispute. What really pisses me off is that, a fair number of deportations happened under Biden. And nobody challenged any of his deportations, and nobody challenged, you know, Obama's deportations, and nobody challenged Bush's deportations, and nobody challenged Clinton's deportations. But now that Trump wants to deport illegals, suddenly, we're supposed to be super concerned about the civil liberties of a bunch of people who broke the law to get into the country. Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm looking forward to Alito's opinion piece. I'm looking forward to it. I'm curious what him and what he has to say on the subject. Again, I don't know if Clarence Thomas is gonna do his own or if he's gonna sign on to Alito's. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I am not happy with SCOTUS right now. I'm really not. I mean, Clarence Thomas retires, it's going to be like a huge blow to our side, and it's looking like he's the next guy up. He's the next one up for retirement. And yeah, like I'm not. It's going to be like a dark day for us. Depends on who Trump appoints. Um, so we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, do all the algorithm stuff for me. Comment and like and sub and follow the links and follow me on X and yeah, throw me a bone.